Guys, I need your help. Please subscribe.
Tilted Towers has been invaded again.
There's a glitch that unsubscribes you. Please subscribe.
There's a glitch.
There's a glitch with YouTube that unsubscribes you from your favorite creators. Please make sure you double check. And if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and maybe think about hitting the bell. Also, like all of my videos, and please comment saying, wow, Logan, you got a really nice butt in the comments. Also, make fun of Flynn in the comments too, because I think that'd be really funny. So this is Breath of the Wild 2, my, like, predictions and kind of hopes and kind of what I think it's gonna be, okay?
Yeah.
The story and world of Breath of the Wild.
You're so
Logan, what is that image?
What? Oh, that's Ganon. So basically,
What is this?
We've all seen the trailer. It starts with you and Zelda going down and exploring underneath Hyrule Castle. And the tutorial's gonna start with you playing as fully geared Link with his Sheikah Slate and the Master Sword and everything like that. And then you're gonna encounter Ganondorf, and in the trailer you see Zelda like drops into the darkness, the void, and then it's gonna be basically a one-on-one with you and Ganondorf. And you're gonna get your ass handed to you completely, and you'll lose like all of your gear, and you're gonna fall into the void as well. And you're gonna wake up, and that's kind of like how you get reset, because obviously gameplay wise we have to think of how we're gonna reset Link, because playing as full decked out Link would obviously be an issue. So that kind of gives a way for us to reset Link gameplay wise. And it also, he wakes up with the little green hand that we see him get in the trailer. So you now are in the Underdark. You have like jack shit. It's kind of like Breath of the Wild where you start out with fucking nothing. You're pretty much in that scenario, and you gotta find Zelda and get the hell out of the Underdark. At least that's what I'm calling it, is the Underdark. When Zelda got her ass handed to her, the Triforce shattered, because we all know canonically, or at least it's assumed canonically, that Zelda is holding all the pieces of the Triforce at the moment. And in Breath of the Wild 2, I'm proposing that, you know, she only has all of it because she's mentally stable, and as soon as she slips, the Triforce will shatter, giving Link the Triforce of Courage, Zelda Wisdom, and of course power to Ganon. Therefore everybody has their respective Triforce piece. And a lot of the gameplay and world will be dark caves, luminous rocks, maybe some glowy mushrooms, that kind of vibe. I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of Zonai ruins and architecture, because we know from the trailer that there was a lot of Zonai runes and all that wacky stuff. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot more of that. I think there's going to be a new race, but probably not the Zonai themselves. I think the Zonai are probably extinct, and we need to have that that draw of lore and mystery around the Zonai, especially in the next game as well. But I do think we'll see a new race of creatures, probably more than one in the Underdark, and a small civilization where you can do quests and come back to, and probably multiple small civilizations, but I'm thinking mainly like one main civilization in the Underdark. Eventually you will leave the Underdark with Zelda to the surface, and you will be in normal Breath of the Wild Hyrule. Hyrule's a bit different, but more or less the same, with, you know, people trying to rebuild and return to normal after the quote-unquote apocalypse ended with Calamity Ganon. We see in the trailer that the castle rises into the air, and the objective now is to get to Ganon's castle. You could technically enter it early, but it will be harder, and you need to do dungeons to collect important resources and or allies to easily kill Ganon. And you kill Ganon by stabbing him in his weak spot. In the trailer you'll see his hand, the green hand, kind of holding his center. I think that's where his weak spot will be gameplay wise, and the finishing move. You know, there's always a finishing move when you kill Ganondorf. Like in Wind Waker, you stab him in the head, and then in Twilight Princess, like, you stab through him. I think that's where his weak spot, quote unquote, is going to be. The Underdark will have a lot of spooky stuff, and Zone 9 have lots of creepy creatures, like, think Twilight Princess vibe, or, like, really warped and dreamlike my Majora's Mask. And I propose that the name for the next Breath of the Wild game, Breath of the Wild 2, is going to be called Legend of Zelda: The Hand of the Ancient, or something to have to do with the hand. Because I looked at the trends of the names of Legend of Zelda games, and it's either the main instrument or the main appeal or draw to the new game. I think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to focus a lot on the hand you get at the beginning and the new gameplay stuff that introduces. I want to talk about the dungeons really quick. I propose that there's only going to be 4 dungeons split across the world, but mainly focusing in the new area, the Underdark, where there's 2 dungeons. This is, of course, a return to traditional Zelda dungeons with boss keys, small keys, mini bosses, and, you know, the more traditional dungeon elements in Zelda games that we have come accustomed to. First 2 dungeons you're going to come across are the ones in the Underdark. You can do either or in any order. One is... they're all tied to specific forms, and they each have a theme. Dungeon A is light and dark themed, similar to the Shadow Temple in Ocarina of Time or the Earth Temple in Wind Waker. A lot of light-based puzzles and that kind of stuff, and really shadowy, spooky crap. Dungeon B is Zonai themed, probably going to be used like an old Zonai ruins or whatever you fall in, and there's like some mysterious tech or magic theme going on, and you got to use that to traverse. In main Hyrule, you of course will only have 1 dungeon, and it's probably going to be the most traditional Zelda dungeon, and I think it's going to be a Sheikah themed dungeon. And I'm hypothesizing that in Hyrule, once you get there, you start the dungeon, you're going to have to collect different shards or different things around the world to try and enforce exploration like they did in other games. Kind of like the Triforce shards in Wind Waker to start that dungeon. So I think A and B are going to be optional. You can do those in any order, but you need to do the main Hyrule after that. And then Hyrule Castle, of course, comes final, the final dungeon of the game. It's going to be closest to Baruda and all of that. It's going to be more like your typical Breath of the Wild dungeon. Similar to the castle in Breath of the Wild, but with aspects from the Divine Beast gameplay-wise. It's going to have a more air and vertical theme, kind of like the Flappy Bird bitch from Breath of the Wild. It's going to be kind of like that, but more of a vertical theme as well. Let's talk about shrines and Korok seeds really quick. I think shrines will be returning to Breath of the Wild as they are essential to its identity. You can't have a Breath of the Wild game without shrines. So they're coming back, but I think they're going to be toned down quite a bit. There's going to be less of them because we're going to put more resources into the new dungeons that we're going to have. So we're definitely going to get new shrines, but we're not going to have nearly the same number, abundance of them. And shrines are definitely going to be underground as well. So you'll find them underground, not risen up. We'll just find them there. As well as new ones on the surface and stuff like that. I think Korok seeds are also going to make a return, but with a new feature involving Tingle, who will be in this game. Items. Let's talk about the new items in this game. Because you can't have a Zelda dungeon, traditional Zelda dungeon, without an essential item. And this is how I'm going to fix this using the green hand we see in the trailer. I suggest instead of new items entirely, every dungeon is linked to a new form that the hand can take. One of those forms is Swing, which is basically the grapple hook from Wind Waker. Lets you traverse vertically and steal items from enemies by swinging at them and grabbing the shit on them without actually killing them. So it's a great way. You can like go into Hyrule Field and use the Swing form or whatever you want to call it to steal like bokoblin hordes and shit from enemies and just run away, and that's an easy way to get those types of items without having to actually full-blown kill it. And it gives the Swing form multiple uses. Then you have Plug, which is basically a slot that lets you interface with whatever the plug's connected to. You like plug your hand in like a plug, and it lets you like say control a crane or a Sheikah interface thing that lets you basically move whatever the interface lets you move. Add in some really cool puzzle elements and that kind of stuff, but I feel like it's kind of a little too similar to the Sheikah slate, so it's kind of eh. Third form is, of course, the big form, which basically acts as, you know, the Megaton hammer, the ball and chain. It's just a really big fucking hand that you can smack down with force and slap. And outside of puzzles and accessing new areas, it also enables you to, you like stun enemies with it. You like hit the ground and they'll like, kind of like the choo-choo jellies in Wind Waker, they just kind of stun, and you could use that to get some hits on them. And then, of course, the last form came up with is called Form Hold, and you basically, Link can tether himself or other objects with another physics object. This includes enemies to enemies, physics object to physics object, Link to physics object, Link to enemy, and they are like basically bound with a rope. Think like the Gmod rope tool. You like click on one thing and click on another, and there's just a rope between them now. And I think that's what the item, this is what this item does, this form does. It basically tethers two objects together. And this could have some really cool dynamics with, of course, you know, Breath of the Wild's physics system, which it likes to shove in your face a lot, and it's an essential part of Breath of the Wild is its physics. I think this could have a lot of really cool, fun puzzles and physics playing around and a whole bunch of stuff that the players can do with. Let's talk about NPCs and side content really quick. So I did mention earlier that we're going to have Tingle. He's making a return, and he will help you map the Underdark because there's no towers down there. So how are you going to get maps? That's why I think Tingle's going to make a return. And plus, we all know how much a pain in the ass the Korok seeds were. So this time, Tingle's there to help you. He's basically give him, like, you know, 100 rupees or 200 rupees, and he'll give you a hint. Kind of like Captain Toad does in the Captain Toad Treasure whatever game. Side content is going to be a little bit more mature. Think more Majora's Mask style. I'm thinking the game might get a boost to rated T, but I'm not sure on that one completely. Also, I'm going to talk about the theories of why people think they cut Zelda's hair. A lot of people thought she's going to be playable, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's because at a certain point in the game, she's going to follow you and act as a follower / companion type that will occasionally say dialogue and add to world building and that kind of stuff, and aid you like Elizabeth does in BioShock Infinite, kind of giving you ammo occasionally or healing you occasionally or pointing out certain aspects of the world. Maybe only for like a dungeon or whatever, but I do think at some point she's going to have that role. I think that's it. That is my Breath of the Wild 2 theory. I know it was long and drawn out. I tried to go through it as quickly as possible. Do you guys have any questions?
Not all of it?
But like,
I disagree with a lot of it, but a lot of the stuff I do agree with though.
Okay, I'll wait for you to present it before we talk about your disagreements, and then we could.
I didn't even watch the fucking
yeah, go ahead.
the trailer.
Flynn's just here for the ride.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm here to watch, you know.
But no, I think that is kind of a out of left field idea, like you mentioned before we.
Yeah,
started.
I did mention this was gonna be kind of out there.
Yeah, he had some out there ideas. That's pretty interesting. I think that would be a cool. It would definitely differentiate itself from its, you know, predecessor enough. I assume, like, you know, the world itself still works on like the same set of like universal rules as the old one does. Yeah. Like, I mean, they are kind of using the same engine.
Yeah, and they said that the Hyrule was going to be the same Hyrule.
Right.
So they're going to be reusing Hyrule to some extent. I think that means they're just gonna take that Hyrule and then twist it a little bit, add new buildings here, there, and new stuff there, but I don't know. I assume we're getting a new area, and I assume that's the Underdark, because I think that'd be kind of cool and creepy.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think there should be like I guess like do you think there should be any form of like not like online content, but like DLC that like would be kind of like out there, like how the motorbike was and stuff?
No, I didn't like that. I thought it was cool to
like that?
I think it was cool to give an item that aids in transportation, but kind of cucked the game in multiple ways, because one, it makes horses useless.
Yeah.
That item basically was just a really good horse that you can kind of summon anywhere. So it kind of made horses defunct and not usable anymore. And I kind of just like, didn't really care about the canon part of the Breath of the Wild DLC too much. But
yeah, it's not really, something to worry about.
I kind of would have rather, another older item or something brought back like they did with some of the other DLC, or even just new content. Like, I'm gonna talk about Mario Odyssey, but you ever look up Mario Odyssey, you'd be like, damn, it would be so fucking easy to add new stuff to this game. Just make a new world or two, charge $20 for it. I would buy that for 2 fucking worlds.
Yeah.
Like, literally,
and
just
Nintendo would charge $20.
They would. They 100% would. They're selling Skyward Sword for $60, which is fucking highway robbery. But I think DLC wise, it's so easy for them to just make new shrines, and people would not be mad with it. It would be so easy just to make shrines, because it's such an easy thing to add. You can just be like, wow, there you go, part of this DLC pass right here, 20 new shrines added, and people would be like, wow, that's actually really cool. 20 new shrines. But I think Breath of the Wild actually really lends itself really easily to being able to add that kind of, short DLC content to it without it being, a big deal. Kind of like how Skyrim kind of lends itself in the same way, where, modders and Bethesda themselves can just throw anything in a Skyrim, DLC or mod-wise, and it generally sticks.
Yeah.
Because it's just a lot of open space, there's a lot of unanswered questions. There's a lot of stuff they could have did that they just didn't do with DLC, and they didn't explore, like, jack shit storyline-wise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, does Devin want to do his? What the fuck?
So my presentation is all about why Linguini should be in Breath of the Wild 2.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
I don't. Linguini. Oh!
Don't say his name.
Okay, I get it.
Okay.
Okay, we're ready.
Just kidding, it's not.
Okay, good. Thank God.
Okay, what I want to see in Breath of the Wild 2.
So, contrary to what you want, Logan, I do want Zelda as a playable character, because I think that would be fucking sick.
Okay.
I think there would definitely probably be like the story mode first, where she's like an NPC with like a bunch of cutscenes. But I think probably after you do something, maybe you get co-op.
Yeah, kind of like a new game plus thing you play as Zelda.
Yeah, maybe that.
That's kind of cool.
So that's what I heard about. And then
Alright.
obviously I want Tingle.
He's so cool.
I think he fits the theme of the reincarnated stuff, like Ganon and stuff. Yeah, he appeared in Majora's Mask. Why not this one? Nago Island is already in Hyrule, so we already know they've done something about it. So just add some more shit, And then I think a fucking hot air balloon would be fucking sick.
Hot air balloon, bitch.
Bro, he's so cool. It makes sense, like the reincarnation stuff we were talking about, because it's like there's no explanation for why Tingle keeps reappearing in all these different Zelda games. It's like he's not. Is he part of the calamity cycle?
Yeah, it's not just those three that get reincarnated. It's Tingle.
Yeah,
too.
Tingle's part of the cycle.
The fourth.
Yeah. So I think the Master Sword that he's gonna have, I just want it to be better. You know.
Jingo gets a Master Sword?
No,
Bro, imagine.
I was gonna say, who the fuck is Tingle? Why does he get a Master
I
Sword?
think the weapon durability is a cool mechanic. It should stick when you want to use different weapons. But if you want to use the Master Sword, obviously it doesn't need to be super OP or nothing, or like invincible. It can still have cooldowns, but I still just want it to be better in some different way.
Yeah.
I think the weapon durability is cool though, but it just gets repetitive, and I think the Master Sword is a good cure to that. Maybe the ability to repair weapons as well would be cool to see.
That would be actually sick. I don't know why that's not in. Yeah, that's a good point.
The Master Sword obviously should be powerful, but I don't think it's properly represented, obviously, the way it's supposed to be in the original Breath of the Wild. So I want more food options.
Do be cooking though. You want to make some linguine?
I think Ganon is gonna not just be this thing that you kill at the very end. I think he's gonna be a constant presence.
Oh shit.
Kind of like Bowser just coming in on his airship, be like, "Fuck you, Mario," and then zooming off.
Wait. Does being able to connect with Ganon throughout the game, is he gonna have like some Rey and Kylo moments with Link?
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking.
Sick,
Bro.
actually, that's fucking sick.
And maybe he's not actually the villain or something. It could also be something like that. Because there's some shit with the Garudas and the other shit like that, and the Sheikahs and all that shit that ties in.
Imagine being
fuck.
Ganon and being like, "Yo, I'm about to go beat up Calamity." That would be kind of cool having Ganondorf whoop Calamity.
And I think this form is going to be a lot more evil than Calamity.
Oh, yeah.
was. He's going to be like shit's going to die, bro.
Yeah.
I want more lore, bitch.
Hey!
That's fucking gold.
Hey!
That's my presentation.
Nice, dude.
I'm still lost.
I do like the Tingle point because I'm a Tingle whore. I love everything Tingle related. And I like the Ganondorf like reappearing multiple times at the story.
I also think
Yeah,
there's gonna be a
that's sick
theme
as
of like
fuck.
reincarnation.
It's gotta be because it's like a constant theme, and it really wasn't there during the original Breath of the Wild. They really just kind of skipped over it. I was really surprised.
Honestly, because like the game takes after like Twilight Princess.
It takes place after everything. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Yeah,
apparently
so-
it's after everything.
And so I think that like the Arbiter Grounds, the location in the original
Princess.
Breath of the Wild,
Oh,
I think that's gonna be like a big thing.
huh.
That's interesting. No, yeah, there's a lot of possibilities there.
I don't know what his hand is gonna be though. It might be Triforce, it might not be.
The green hand has gotta be some sort of new power or gimmick thing.
Right.
What if they just accidentally colored his hand?
And I just think
I think
how
that
fucking
dragons-
cool it is like you go to fight the final boss and it's Ganondorf and you're getting your ass kicked and Zelda can't help you and then you're on like one heart, then a cutscene plays and your hand just starts glowing and you get the Triforce of courage right then and there. You just whoop his ass. Kind of like those ending game segments where they just make you OP. Have you guys ever played Half-Life Alyx? They just kind of give you god powers. You can just electrocute the Combine with your fingers. And Control does the same thing. They just give you like the ability to pick up everything and instantly kill everything around you. I think that'd be kind of like a power
That'd be
fantasy
sick.
thing.
Yeah. All right, man. Good presentation. Shit. Okay, so I feel like mine's might be a bit more of a balance between. Oh, okay. Mine might be a bit more of a balance between the two of you guys. Because I kind of have ideas from like what both of you have said. I will say right now though, I did not address Tingle at all, and both of you did.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
I'm sorry, I didn't really think about him that much. He's kind of just like the guy Nintendo throws in if he needs like, they're like, we can't just have a tutorial screen pop up or something. Like,
But you're wrong. You ever heard of the Tingle Tuner?
yes, I've heard of the Tingle Tuner. I've had a Game Boy before.
Imagine if they bring the Tingle Tuner back with like original Game Boy support.
Holy shit!
That'd be sick.
So before I get started, I mean, I think just some preliminary stuff. I would like this game to be released with like a new, like a Switch Pro or something, like a new console.
Oh yeah, I would
That
100%
would just be-
think that's gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would just want to put that out there that that's what I expect and that's what I want to happen. And I would get it.
Yeah, I
would get the updated
agree.
deal.
Yeah, I'm actually saving money in my bank account because I think that's gonna be happening later this year. When they announce the
also
Breath of the
think
Wild 2 news that they promised, I think they're gonna also announce it alongside the new Switch.
Right. Oh yeah, we should mention we're recording this in March, so we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know
anything that
chat
happens
crap.
later this year. Anyway, so I kind of divided it into two sections, and in those two sections, I'm also gonna kind of be splitting it into like what I want and then what I actually think they were gonna do. So for the first part, I'm just gonna talk about what I think the story would be like. I think actually this story is gonna bring the timeline kind of into focus because ever since, because it's 2021 now, and they released Hyrule Historia the first time they've acknowledged the timeline in 2011. So it's been 10 years that we've sat with the timeline, and they've made their little changes. They've switched games. They've switched like the spots of a couple games every now and then. It doesn't really matter, but I mean, if they keep making tweaks to it and they keep kind of building up to, I mean, I guess they're not really building up to it, but they have the fact that it's been addressed and like it's on a lot of people's minds. And essentially, like when Breath of the Wild came out, a lot of people were asking where does it fit on the timeline, even though it doesn't really matter if you play the game itself. I mean, well, I guess it matters if you a real one.
I kind of thought they were gonna go the other way personally, because I think they're gonna try and, the lore is very kind of ambiguous. The lore is kind of ambiguous in the first place. It kind of has all of the timelines in Breath of the Wild, so I think they're just gonna keep pulling that shit. They're like, haha, kind of like Dark Souls, guys, and pat themselves in the back, and we get no answers for our lore. So I think that's interesting perspective, though.
No, but that's the thing though, is that I think actually this game is gonna return to a lot of stuff that, like, they're gonna in a way return to a lot of stuff from the past, but obviously reintroduce it in a modern light. And in that, I also think that they actually, because I actually myself have some crazy ideas, and I think they actually, the craziest thing they could do is straight up like addressing that there are other timelines or like other versions.
Just straight up in the video game, they're like, they reference the that would be crazy.
But like, because that's the thing though, is that like it would also be cool that like maybe there's an explanation for why Breath of the Wild is quote unquote on the end of the timeline, because a lot of the lore set up in the last game was that 10,000 years ago the Sheikahs created this technology that just like as soon as Ganon appeared, they fucking bodied him. They like just absolutely decimated him. It wasn't really like a hard fight like it was before. And then there's kind of this like lost history kind of, because the civilization in Breath of the Wild, they find it. They like excavate this technology and bring it back to fight Ganon. So there, for some reason, those Sheikah those Sheikahs that had this, amazing technology in this kingdom and stuff, for some reason they vanished and everyone kind of forgot about that. And I guess like it's because their purpose was just to fight Ganon, and then after Ganon they didn't really have a purpose. But I really think that's kind of bullshit, because it's like you could use those things for so much, and the Sheikah technology is really important. So the fact that the shrines are kind of like ancient and like standing there, it makes me think that there was kind of a lost history out there that I think that as you're playing throughout the game, Link will kind of be discovering, or Link and and Zelda, I guess, will be discovering parts of this lost history in the story. And just kind of, I think, bringing legitimately, like, it would be cool to actually bring the timeline into focus for once, and do something kind of wild with that. I think it might start with just like Zelda kind of going through this mission to reunite Hyrule, and obviously kind of just get the land back together in shape. And when they're in underground in that cutscene, when they're just kind of exploring what's below Hyrule Castle, I do think something is going to attack them, and I actually don't think it's going to be Ganon. I think it might be it might be a reference to Vatu, I think was his name or something. It was like this wind mage that just wanted to bring back Ganon. Vati, There you go. Who like wanted to bring back Ganon. He's kind of just like evil mage, and like I do agree with Logan. I think Zelda has they like implied that Zelda has the United Triforce, but I don't 100% know if she realizes it, because like we've mentioned before, they don't really say Triforce in the last one. They don't really.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think she realizes it. I think they just think it's a mystical power from the gods, is Goddess Hylia. I think that's what they don't know about the Triforce, technically, is what I think.
Right, and I think this Vati will attack them, or like this Vati-like character will attack them. Zelda will be forced to either be willingly forced to split the Triforce, or like it just happens, like Logan said, like under pressure. She kind of gets pushed to a limit, and it just shatters. And with it shattered, the pieces go to like whoever it belongs to. So like you said, Zelda wisdom, Link courage, and then power going to Ganon will be what awakens Ganon. And I think that's kind of like what this mage's plan was all along, or whatever. And then we'll have a whole little scuffle down there. Link will lose his hand, I'm pretty sure. So like some Adventure
Time shit.
I think Link will just straight up lose a hand.
That would be. I don't think that would happen, but I think it would be cooler if it did.
No, honestly, I legitimately think that's what might happen, because I was gonna get into this later in my second section with gameplay, but I want to say that like I think it would be cool if like Link's hand kind of became like a universal tool. Like maybe it replaces the hook shot, where like Link could like shoot his hand to like other places and like grab.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. The hand was too, but to replace items, it's kind of like more different forms that you could activate.
Right. It's kind of like a universal tool I could switch out and do other things.
You think the ancient people who like built the robot shit, whatever the fuck, the Guardians, you think they're gonna come back?
No, well, I mean, it's said that it's Sheikah that built it, and there is Sheikah during like the Breath of the Wild time when they found him. It's just that they're not like those Sheikah, they're not like the. I guess they are those Sheikah, because they're still Sheikah scientists, but it's like they're definitely not on the level of the Guardian creation, I guess. Or maybe they are, but I don't know. They found the Guardians from like built way long ago. So I don't know. That's what I think like Breath of the Wild 2 should kind of, because I legitimately feel like Zelda, who's kind of this like academic person, would be like, okay, we've defeated Calamity Ganon. I just need to reunite Hyrule. And I think like, discovering kind of like maybe some lost history and adding more lore in general will kind of unravel it more. And I think like the more that they're unraveling, the more they're like realizing how grand the scale is. And that's why I think like what they might have a moment where they realize how truly far back the legend goes. Because at this point, it's like ridiculously
it's
far.
like fucking thousands upon thousands of years. I had this thought when you were talking about, like, you know, Zelda and her love for Sheikah history and all of that, because she obviously does. She's like a huge Sheikah history nerd. I think it'd be really cool if there was like a side quest where you pretty much just follow Zelda along to a bunch of Sheikah ruin sites and she just nerds out and you just kind of just gotta sit there, protect her from enemies as she just fucking on and on.
I would love that.
It's pretty much just like a Zelda fan service moment where she gets to talk and it kind of develops her character and you just gotta defend her. But I think that would be kind of more of a cute, like, you know.
Yeah, and so just to wrap up my story part, I think what would happen would be after that, I think Link might pass out again for like a little while, but it'll be like, it won't be like 100 years, obviously. It'll be like legitimately like maybe a week or something, and Zelda's been running around and Link's kind of like chasing after her in a way, and like kind of like being, I guess in a way, like being in places that she was like maybe like a few days ago, and in a way there could be like a way to like kind of see, because maybe she's holding like her own Sheikah slate or something. So like, maybe you could see like video recordings of what she did or something.
That's kind of how I thought it would be too. Like you how I imagine it, you fall down into the void, you get knocked out, and you wake up like a few days later or whatever, and you need to basically track down where Zelda's been, and you know, she's been to places, she's talked to people. It's kind of like one of those games where, because it's a popular trope in games, and I think it would work really well, where you kind of like in Fallout 3 with your dad.
Yeah, exactly. And I do think, no, I mean Fallout 3, you're following your dad.
Oh, that's true.
Fallout 4, you're finding your kid.
Oh, other way around.
But I think Hyrule Castle would after that fight would rise out of the ground. I think here's how I think they would keep the map interesting is that I think as Link goes throughout, you know, Hyrule, and I do think temples will be back in some form. So like as maybe after Link does a temple, I actually think the map or the landscape might like shift in a certain way, not like move literally, but like things in that environment will be like changed because Link did a certain thing. Or maybe it's another like race against time where like essentially after Link does a shrine or like does like a temple, a very important temple, people will be like, you need to keep going because now like let's say like Mount Lanayru is having like, you know, earthquakes and like it's like splitting and stuff, and parts of it are like breaking off.
I think that would be cool as hell, actually.
From that way, like new areas would be maybe not. I mean, it could be like, you know, new areas could be discovered, like maybe like a part of like caved in like Mount Doom or something, or like, you know, Rito Village that maybe like fell because it's kind of like a vertical thing. So like maybe if it like falls or something, or like parts of it fall, you can kind of go to where it fell and like how the environment's different in some way, or just like, you know, it's in some way the map could be shifting because it's the same map, but obviously it's Nintendo, so they want to keep doing new stuff. Like I mentioned, I think temples will be back in some way. There's no way they're gonna outright replace shrines because shrines are just kind of the Breath of the Wild staple. A couple of gameplay things. I think the universal set of rules are going to be the same. The whole Sheikah slate like things, they might add more, or you know, they might like recontextualize like old things. Like I said, like the hook shot from before could be maybe your hand, or maybe it's just like maybe you just Link just straight to gets the hook shot or something. Kind of like it's like taking things that did exist and then like making them work in this new modern kind of sandboxy kind of game. Don't really know exactly how they do it. Maybe the hookshot can only hit certain things, or like there's certain areas you really can't get to unless you have it. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I think it would be cool if Link like low-key directly interacted with the gods, kind of how Twilight Princess did it, where he like interacted with like a guardian god of like those lakes and stuff. It's obviously going to be a bit darker, so I think that like maybe how they make it darker is that like they push it on the land again, and it'll kind of be like the reverse of Ocarina, because Ocarina, like every time you did a temple, you like kind of cured the land of like a sickness or like a disease or whatever. But it should kind of be the opposite. Like, let's say every time Link does it, it's like getting worse, so there's kind of like pressure on you to keep going and like, you know, do certain things.
Yeah,
while
it
still
kind
being in the same.
It kind of gives you the feeling that time is progressing, but you're not actually in a time crunch, so you could do Breath of the Wild type things, like go explore and do side content, but you do like a dungeon or temple, and like, you know, oh look, the volcano just erupted because of it, or the flood happened and now water's overrunning this area of Hyrule. Also,
yeah, exactly.
I just thought of this, swimming or some sort of underwater mechanic
agree.
will be there. It will be there, and it needs to be there, because
yeah, I was gonna say I also need.
You will see, and I think how they will do it is you're inside like the cave area or the Underdark, and to pass there's water, and then it'll be like a tutorial tip. Use this to swim underwater, and you gotta go underneath and through an underwater cave to get through.
See, I don't think it'll do even that. I think it'll just be like maybe just a Twilight Princess thing,
like a temple, or like you get a suit and you're just able to like kind of like control yourself and swim.
Yeah,
around.
just kind of swim around, kind of like a Zora.
Yeah.
Free swimming's gotta be there.
Yeah, I agree. Like, well, honestly, anything to kind of make mobility more fun, because obviously it should kind of be like a step up from the last game. And like, you know, the last game I think had a pretty solid set of rules that made the, you know, the world really fun to play with. But yeah, if they're able to introduce new ones and keep like, you know, the world being interesting and stuff, I believe they could do it, because they do that shit all the time.
Yeah, I think they were gonna actually have swimming in the original Breath of the Wild, because if you look at the oceans, they actually have assets all over. They have like coral reefs and stuff that you can't see unless you go underneath the water. It's crazy how much detail they actually put into the ocean in Breath of the Wild, and you get to see none of it. So I really think that they're gonna have swimming in this, and I'd be shocked and honestly disappointed if they didn't.
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I think the bull in the trailer should be somewhere. I wish it's a mount.
What the fuck?
It's gotta be, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Like the water buffalo looking ass thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did those even come from?
I don't know, but it looks cool.
Yeah, true. I think just kind of in general, like Link and Zelda discovering kind of certain things, like maybe there's like a secret about the Guardians or something, like an evil secret, who knows? I mean, I'm really just spitballing here at this point, but like you know, just something that's kind of like sinister about the past, because I always kind of felt like, hey, we found this ancient technology that was buried under like mountains and stuff. Like, let's just use it because it worked. Like, you know, it says in the legend it worked like last time, but I feel like there has to be something that we don't know about them that maybe will be discovered here in this game. One thing I don't think will happen that I kind of want to happen would be kind of cool if you could switch between Link and Zelda, but like a GTA 5 style where you kind of just do it whatever. like it would be cool to like switch to like Zelda and she's just like sitting at a campfire or whatever, but then she just like gets up because you're controlling her now or something.
That would be interesting, but I personally don't think it's happening.
not in this game.
No.
Not in this one.
I can't imagine a Legend of Zelda game where you play as Zelda, and I don't think that's like, it's definitely not a woman thing or anything like that.
Nah.
I think it's more of, it centers around, it's the Legend of Zelda, but it centers around Link.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of.
I think
hero's
Zelda
journey.
has too much of a personality to be the protagonist, because Link has a personality, but he's more of a blank slate, and the personality is a background element. To even find any backstory or any information on Link, you have to go through Zelda's fucking diary. So
Right. I mean, really all we know about him is that he was a knight.
he was a knight.
That is,
He
like,
has he actually does have feelings and does talk.
Yeah.
He's a sad boy. He doesn't talk often because apparently he feels the immense pressure of being a knight.
Right, which is kind of crazy because, like,
yeah, you know, you see all your friends and family dying, and you're basically not even just the princess's knight. You're like, it's like being Jesus's knight.
Pretty much. I mean, like, it's like well, I mean, I think even a step higher than that. Like, you're essential for the prophecy to work.
Yeah.
Like his thing isn't to just protect Zelda, it's to, like, you're the one that's gonna have to kill Ganon. So but yeah, I think that's kind of what I wanted to say. Just reintroduce a lot of cool things, maybe bring the timeline into focus, have a shifting map would be cool. I do think Hyrule Castle will again kind of be like the final goal, but it'll just be floating. Maybe there could be even a whole ass new thing.
People think Loft Wings are coming back, and there's gonna be sky stuff. Yeah, people think Loft Wings are legitimately coming back, and that's how you're gonna traverse the sky area of the game, including Hyrule Castle. What do you think about that?
That would be interesting.
I'm telling you, hot air balloons.
You think you think you roll up to Tingle and you're like, yo, fly me up, homeboy, and he just like, aight, fairy boy.
I think hot air balloons are more believable than the Loft Wings. But here's the thing: I always viewed the races, because essentially, like, how the gods just, like, how I interpret what the gods do is that, like, they just kind of put the races. At least a lot of races that are, like, useful. They put a lot of useful races out there for, like, what's needed during the time. Like, that's why it's like the Koroks were Kokiri. They just evolved because, you know, the land got harsher, so they had to. I mean, it's even in Wind Waker, the Kokiri evolved into Koroks because, like, the world got flooded or whatever.
Yeah, and the bird people
gods,
evolved
like,
from
can
Zora.
outgrow.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, the bird people were, which is weird. Why would they not?
Yeah.
Why would Zora be the one to go extinct?
Hey, we don't see any Zora and Wind Wakers. Like, they had to go somewhere, I guess. That would have been the perfect game for him too, but I guess.
I know, but, like,
Wait,
why did they do that?
Bird people? Wasn't there a bird person in Wind Waker?
Yeah, Medley.
Yeah, the bird people in Wind Waker replaced the Zora.
Yeah, the Rito replaced the Zora.
But now the Rito and Zora exist alongside each other.
Yeah.
I think the dragon should come back.
The boat?
The dragon, just the dragon Va, whatever.
Yeah.
The boat?
I would like to see Guardians fight each other. That would be sick as fuck. That would be a hype moment. Like, could you imagine, like, running across the battlefield while two Guardians are, like, shooting at two other Guardians?
Oh, like some
the
like
explosions, just
some
kind
like
of
World
happening
War
around
One type shit where you're just running between two trenches of Guardians.
That'd be amazing.
That'd be sick.
Wouldn't it be cool if, like, Divine Beast on Divine Beast violence?
I mean, I
like,
think
Ganon gets one of the Divine Beasts, he's like, Teres, and you're like, well, we don't have any living pilots, guess I gotta do this myself. You just hop into one of them, and it's like a mecha fight.
honestly, I think the Divine Beasts should destroy each other by the end of this game.
Yeah, they're just
Like,
kind
they
of
should
sitting there. What the fuck are they gonna do with them?
They should legitimately blow each other up. That'd be fun as fuck.
Just Zelda dials you up. She's like, I got a side quest for you. You gotta get rid of these fucking things. They're big war machines of death that we don't need.
Like, we've got Ganon from the earth. Like, he's gone. So
Like, imagine if Johnny from the village across the street decided he was fucking done with our shit. He could just hop in that motherfucker and nuke us.
I know. Though, I mean, you have to say though, I mean, I think it's interesting how different time works in the universe, because obviously it's at like a bigger scale than us. Because like even Hylians, I think, would live longer than like the average human, and like I don't know. It seems like time moves differently in Zelda than it does in real life.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like time travel, bro.
There is, Devin. Have you even played Ocarina of Time?
Ocarina of Time.
You're so high you forgot the plot to your favorite Zelda game.
Devin's like, dude, it'd be sick if there was a game of time travel.
No. I was talking about Breath of the Wild too.
But that's why I think.
Nah, Age of Calamity ruined that entire concept for me.
Yeah, Age of Calamity kind of cheeks for that. Okay, I think that's our Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
talk.
I think we're good.
Yo, guys, thank you for watching this. I'm just kidding.
Damn, bro. But I go in.
Unless Flynn, you want to say?
No, yeah. We haven't done Flynn's thing
want?
yet. We haven't done Flynn's yet, Flynn.
What do you want? What do you want to be in Breath of the Wild 2?
Yes, Dad. Okay.
You son of a bitch.
What perfect timing! What perfect timing, guys! My dinner's done.
You son of a bitch.
Pussy.
Don't call me a pussy because I'm talking about a subject I don't know.
The question is just, what do you want to be in Breath of the Wild 2?
I want Navi.
Okay.
I want a little fucking fairy, and I want to be able to put it in a bottle and stick it on my
You
fucking
can put it in a
room.
bottle.
Yeah, I want to stick it in a bottle, and then I want it to be like a consumable item.
Yeah, no, real
I wanna
shit.
Eat Navi.
Do you guys know the lore significance because of why we don't have fairies anywhere? Because we do have the Great Deku Tree. Where the fuck are all the fairies? Is there like a Kokiri
There
thing?
are fairies.
There's
There are
a fairy
fairies.
mother, yeah.
Alright.
Well, you have the adult fairies, the grand. I think they're like
Yeah,
great
the
fairies.
Well, like,
mothers and stuff.
can you still catch those fairies in a bottle? It's the same model as Navi.
No, you can't.
What?
No, you can catch fairies in a bottle.
Yeah, the
can
fairies that are next to the Great
Yeah.
Fairy Fountain. You can like catch them in a
Yeah.
bottle, and then they heal your hearts.
We just don't have any like sentient fairy companions.
Maybe they are sentient. You just don't care.
Yo, that if there was one link to be like that, it would be the Link of the Wild. That man's a straight up fucking savage.